she's had a lot of kind of self-reflection. There's been a new sense of addressing her own vulnerability, as anyone would. You come face to face with your mortality with a diagnosis like that.
It's a relief to many to hear that the Princess of Wales is cancer-free. She told the country the news in a very modern way, a video on social media. Joining us now is Kate Mansey, the assistant editor and royal editor of The Times. Morning to you, Kate.
Morning.
We don't know much detail about her illness, but what do you take from this video? It's a happy video. It's a positive video. It does suggest she still recognises there are still health issues to face. What did you take from it?
Yeah, I think she definitely strikes a note of caution. I mean, first of all, it's quite extraordinary, this kind of 3-minute, very glossy video, which is, very well put together by a chap called Will Waugh, who's a great piece about him in the Times too today. And she's out in Norfolk with her family, and there's this kind of voiceover over the top of it. She is telling us that she's going to do her best to stay cancer-free, that her chemotherapy's ended, which is a huge relief. There's some insight into the kind of past 9 months, which have been incredibly tough, she says, for the family. So she's sort of reaching out. She's mentioning other kind of cancer sufferers like Molly, and saying that she's walking hand in hand with them as she goes forward. But there is still no kind of meat on the bones of the actual detail of her illness, and many people will think that's just as it should be. She's keeping that private. But in some ways, this is the most kind of intimate video that we've seen from the Waleses, because we have the whole family there. There's lots of the children that they've been very keen to protect the privacy of over the years. But here they are. This is an insight into how she's been spending her time away from the public eye. And I think this is the Waleses recognising that in order to maintain that relationship with the public, William's been away from a lot of duties himself. They have to reach out in this way.
Lawrence says, I'm a cancer survivor from 10 years ago. I was enchanted by Kate's video. I think that making it is part of her own healing process, as well as in trying to encourage others in their cancer journey. And there's lots of people very positive about this video. I wanted to talk about the manner in which they've done it, because it is unusual. When she talks about her cancer the first time, it was a very straight video, sitting on a bench. It was very personal, looking down the barrel of the camera and talking. This is very produced. Some might say it's overproduced. There's music, there's sepia tones. The language is very emotional to the point of being cliched in some respects. Is it okay to respond critically to how this is done, or do we just accept the generosity behind it? How have you found people responding to it?
Well, I found people being very positive towards it, to be honest. There's some hard-bitten hacks who I know in the journalism world and actually brought a tear to their eye. So I think in some ways she's done a good job. One of the interesting things that she doesn't say herself, but people have said to me at the Palace, is that one of the things that she's sought solace in during this time has been nature. So obviously we've seen her in the woods in this video, but also creativity. And I don't know much more detail about that, but we know her to be a very keen photographer, for example. And I can see her hand in making this video. I'm sure there's a lot of her input that's gone into that. And as she speaks herself, she's had a lot of kind of self-reflection. There's been a new sense of addressing her own vulnerability, as anyone would. You come face to face with your mortality with a diagnosis like that. So I think that's all playing out within the video, and I think that's fine. I can see her touches within there. I can see her trying to make it personal to her. And
this is the future, isn't it? This is a royal family, particularly this family, that is very Instagram friendly, very Instagram conscious. This is how the royals probably will communicate in the future. It's very conscious of the social media world in which it's going to be played.
That's right. Every generation of the royal family makes their own stamp on it and addresses the era of the time. It speaks to the zeitgeist of the time. And, as I say in the Times today, it's an Instagram-friendly video. We don't see Louis falling out of a tree. The children are playing happily a card game, and we all know in reality that, in the end, someone falls out with somebody and storms off. Well, that's not in there. It's not a fly-on-the-wall documentary. It is very Instagram-friendly. It's, them living their best life with a very hopeful and positive message. But I think that's nice. I think that's what they want to put out in the world. A lot of people have been worried about the Princess of Wales. There's been lots of speculation. We've talked about it ourselves. International media. How is she? How's she getting on? And rumors fly. So this is her kind of saying, well, this is what we've been doing. Yes, it's the best version of what's happened. She's not showing the warts and all, but I think that's fine. It's a positive message.
Kate, really interesting stuff. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
That's Kate Mansey there, assistant editor and a royal editor of The Times.
You lead the way. As the summer comes to an end, I cannot tell you what a relief it is to have finally completed my chemotherapy treatment. The last 9 months have been incredibly tough for us as a family. Life as you know it can change in an instant, and we've had to find a way to navigate the stormy waters and road unknown. The cancer journey is complex, scary, and unpredictable for everyone, especially those closest to you. With humility, it also brings you face to face with your own vulnerabilities in a way you've never considered before. And with that, a new perspective on everything.
Is this filming?
Hello? Hello?
This time has above all reminded William and me to reflect and be grateful for the simple yet important things in life, which so many of us often take for granted, of simply loving and being loved. Doing what I can to stay cancer-free is now my focus. Although I have finished chemotherapy, my path to healing and full recovery is long, and I must continue to take each day as it comes. I am, however, looking forward to being back at work and undertaking a few more public engagements in the coming months when I can. Despite all that's gone before, I enter this new phase of recovery with a renewed sense of hope and appreciation of life. William and I are so grateful for the support we've received and have drawn great strength from all those who are helping us at this time. Everyone's kindness, empathy, and compassion has been truly humbling. To all those who are continuing their own cancer journey, I remain with you, side by side, hand in hand. Out of darkness can come light, so let that light shine bright.